Hey guys, welcome to the Bayou Country Music Association show. This is Jacob. I'm here with Bryan Frazier, Nashville singer-songwriter. How are you doing, Bryan?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing good. Had a really good time talking with you whenever I first met you a while back, and we've been knowing each other for a few months. And I had the opportunity when you said you had the opportunity to do an interview. I was like, man, that's awesome, and especially with you, you got some new stuff coming out, and we want to promote that for you, brother. But let's get into it and let everybody know where you're from originally. I know you're from not Nashville, you live there, but
yeah. Not from Nashville originally, like most people. I'm from the mountains of northwestern Virginia. It's called Winchester, Virginia. It's a small little mountain town up there in the Blue Ridge, and it's actually Patsy Cline's hometown. It's a random little fact where I'm from, and I've been down in Nashville since about December 2014. It's been a few years, and just been grinding ever since, you know.
Awesome. And at what age did you begin to play music or start to love music, country music, or playing and writing?
I always grew up kind of around it. My parents would take me to the fairs. I'd say my first concert was actually Alabama. I was like,
wow,
4 or 5. I know I didn't even know what I was singing, but I came away being like, I want to be doing that. And then I'd say I really got into it around 12 or 13 when the songs started to really hit me. You like hit your heart. You start feeling some of that stuff that country music does to you. And then I dove right in. Started learning guitar. I learned guitar pretty much off the internet. It's just, I would come home from school, look at tabs and stuff, different random Kenny Chesney songs and anything you would want to, jam around the campfire with. And it all kind of blossomed from there. I think I started writing songs probably like 15 or 16. They weren't not the greatest, but they're funny to look back on now. So, but that's kind of how I got into it. And then kind of through college and that whole thing, it just got kind of more and more to where I was like, well, maybe this needs to be the career I'm doing. And I moved down here after college and haven't looked back since. It's been the greatest decision I've ever made. I wouldn't trade the world for it. I believe God kind of put me here to do that. I don't think I could do much else, honestly.
I hear you, brother. And what was some of your musical influences growing up? Obviously, you said Alabama was one of your first concerts and listening.
All types, though. I grew up I grew up in the weird, I'm 28, so I grew up in the stage where honestly, I hate to say it, the file sharing age with the Napster and the Kazaa and when iPods were coming out. So, you could get, and when iTunes downloads came to be, I grew up with everything. I mean, Three Doors Down to Tupac to a lot of country, though. Southern rock. I had a phase where I could play every Skinner song. I went to 3 different Skinner concerts. To what else? Even some pop. Even though I don't really write that much pop, but I'll say it, guilty confession. I love the Backstreet Boys. Still like it.
You can't. If somebody tells you they don't, and they're lying to you. We all.
Come on. I Want It That Way, that music video, that's ridiculous. That's
Come on now.
But the classics, honestly, like Billy Ray. There's a video my parents have when I'm like about 5 years old. I'm in cowboy boots dancing to Ache Break Your Heart. I'll say that's like the thing. The basis still is some real 90s country, like everybody else. We grew up in I still feel like 90s country is the golden era of country music for our generation.
Oh, definitely.
Grew up right in the middle of that, so that's the biggest factor. But from music now, I'd say it's that 90s country mixed with some rock, because I do like some rock in there, some southern rock.
Yeah, definitely. So you said you moved to Nashville out of college. It was 2014?
Yeah, it was December 2014. I graduated in 2013 and took a year, and I was playing a lot of shows, and it was kind of getting to that point where it was like, well, are you going to do this full time and just dive right in, or are you going to kind of pick the 9 to 5? I graduated with a business degree from West Virginia, and it was kind of tiptoeing, and I'm glad I picked the other route. And most people probably would have picked the same route, not to come down here and write songs all week. But then I came down here and just started meeting people. It's kind of rough. I didn't know no one down here when I first moved here, so first 6 months you kind of just going out to bars, talking to whoever, trying to play rounds, and then it slowly kind of blossoms into a lot of cool relationships that you just never thought would happen.
Yeah, definitely. It has to be, an experience of, you come from West Virginia, up north, Yankee, I'm going to say. But,
you guys.
Yeah, but we have a lot of very talented artists down here, and but even them, whenever they say that, you go to Nashville and there is a million people that are just as good, now better than you, that are fighting to pay to get $10 to buy. I talked to Guy Reagan, and he said he was in Nashville and he was eating ice for supper for 6 months. So explain, like, what is the I guess the point where you actually climb the hill of going from eating ice, say, to actually, okay, I can sustain myself as a musician out through here.
Yeah, see, moving to town's the whole, like, eating PB&J, sleep on the couch, that whole thing. You kind of just start, you don't get paid really to play any of the writers' rounds or anything in town, so, you're just doing that. So you just got to pick up, and you got to be available in the day, because that's where the writing is. If you want to start co-writing in Nashville, you just have to have some odd jobs. So I worked at the Ryman gift shop for a little while. Everyone has their random jobs. I did, like, kind of Uber, Lyft too.
At the Ryman Auditorium?
Yeah,
wow.
I actually worked in the gift shop selling magnets and stuff to tourists.
Wow.
For the first, like, kind of 8 months, kind of hold me over, and they were pretty cool to where they'd let me kind of have my own schedule when I needed to. So that got me on my feet in Nashville, and still got to kind of see the back of the Ryman and really get the history of that. So it's a funny little backstory, and got to always randomly stick my head into Opry shows and stuff there, and they kind of held me over to where I could get enough going and get some shows, and you start getting out of town where you can make some money on the road and such, and that can hold you over. And that's kind of where we're at now, trying to play as much shows as possible on the road. Just road dog it, and during the week just write as much as possible, as trying to get a cut.
Yeah, man, and doing all the obviously songwriting, and you've obviously wrote, I'm sure, many songs that musicians have picked up. And is there ever or that one artist you could say that you would love to either do a collaboration vocally or songwriting with?
This is probably pretty popular, but it's one of my biggest reasons, and who influences me the most, probably, that I forgot to actually mention earlier, is Eric Church. That's like...
And ding, 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 we have a winner. Ding, ding, ding. If you don't come on this show and mention Eric Church, you don't get published.
You're not a songwriter, yeah?
No.
Yeah, so, I know that's the craziest one. But, yeah, I would freak out. That's not... we make friends with a lot of these bigger people, and then you kind of you see that they're real people. They're not just, like, stars. You're in Nashville, so they're normal, too. They're just like us. But that's the one guy where I was kind of like, oof, man, I'd love to get in a room with him. Well, yeah, but we'll see. Hey, you never know.
Hey, yep, and then when you do get in that room with him, make sure and call me so I can come, because I'll be fanboying on the outside. Yeah, sure. Eric's one of my. I've always loved Eric Church, and how he's very true, and he does a lot. Awesome songwriter, and he writes country music that speaks from the heart. And I think one of my most memorable things is the show he did on the Grand Ole Opry after the Vegas tragedy, and how that video right there. If you can watch that and not feel something inside, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, the why me, or
why not me? Why not me? Yep. Why not me? And he said, he's like, those were my people, my crowd, and it's just that's what it's all about, man, and that's what makes music and country and all genres really of songwriting, that coming from the heart. And
one weird thing it's kind of got me into where I was like, I want to perform. I always wanted to songwrite, but really, like, I got to see him in the year he got kicked off the Rascal Flatts tour. He got kicked off for kind of going around stage too much and all this
being
stuff.
Eric Church.
Yeah, so he got kind of relegated to these rock clubs, and I got to see him at this small DC rock club that was kind of an hour away from me where I grew up, and it was the coolest. You were just like, this guy has it. It was it, and you got to see him at his, like, weird like stage where he was just coming up, and he just got kicked off the tour. You just felt like it was real. So
He's
like,
to me
something like that.
Yeah, he's a modern day Waylon and Johnny Cash and outlaw that really don't give a damn about what they say. He's gonna do it, you know. That's
for sure.
Awesome, man. But yeah, he's definitely one of my favorites, and if you ever do write a song with him, you let me know.
Let you know. You can be a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
A lot of people would want to do
Well,
that.
speaking of songs, man, I mean, obviously you're a writer, but you're also a great artist, and you have an EP that has been out on iTunes, Spotify, and all that, and that's Lived It Up. Or Lived It, I'm sorry.
It's called Lived It. Yeah, I released that it'll be a year ago in May.
Yeah.
So that was a 5-song EP, that was the songs I'd written from kind of the start when I moved to Nashville with a few friends, got into co-writing. I released an EP about 3 years ago that was just solely my stuff kind of back in Virginia. But Lived It kind of was the Nashville introduction to me, and it's done pretty well. There's the Keys song kind of made a little waves. People really had some good times with that, and of course the Beer Pressure video and such, where we just were acting ridiculous, and I had the Kenny Powers mullet on. That's become a little fan favorite at shows and such. Just a little party song, but
and now you have just released a new single. It Could Have Been You.
Yeah, I'm pumped about that one. It's called It Could Have Been You. I wrote it with two really, really good buddies and amazing artists, songwriters themselves, Dawson Edwards and Ryan Nelson. And we wrote that probably September. And I'm telling you, it's one of those things when you know it. It came out in like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm cutting that for sure. That's going to be a cool summer jam. And I'm proud of it. It seems like it's going well. It's got on a couple playlists and such, and just hope everyone checks it out. It's a good little summertime jam. Roll your windows down. I'm a fan of those. As much as I'm a fan of the deep stuff that actually is real, meaningful per se. But I love the stuff that you can just roll your windows down and jam to.
Yeah, and I've listened to the song several times the last few days, and I love it. And I'll make sure and publish links to it, and we obviously have our Spotify Top 25, and your song has been on there. Beer Pressure's been on there a little bit.
I appreciate it too. Always appreciate it.
I wanted to let you know I do Bayou's Best, and I pick 4 songs of I try to make it new songs of each week, and I'm going to add that on this week's Bayou's Best.
Well, thank you, man. That means a lot. Yeah, appreciate it.
Great song, man, and I had to laugh a little bit. I recently, last week, the song Stereotype was on there. And when I heard the song a while back, and I was like, man, I've heard this song before. So for the listeners, I met you through Dawson and Caleb and playing at a little hole in the wall down here in Louisiana, and about 6 months ago, probably a little bit longer than that, and we've been in contact and talked, and I was like, I've heard that song, and I went through my phone, and I have videos of you and Dawson singing that song, and I was like, I knew I heard that song before. But tell us a little bit about that. I did an interview with Dawson, and he had explained a little bit about how you and him had helped co-write that and Stereotype.
Yeah, it's a funny story. Also, just before I get into that, that's why I love songwriting, because it's like you get these cuts on other people's albums that are your good friends, and then you could be on the road and playing them, and people are like, wait a minute.
I know that.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing to me about Nashville songwriting is that. But how that song came about was I'm good friends with Joe Fortner, and he's an amazing artist too. And we had a write together, and it was just supposed to be him and I. And Dawson's a good friend of mine. We write great songs together, and I kind of just hit Dawson up and was like we do. We randomly be like, hey man, you want to join in? And he, at the time, he was like, yeah, I'd love to, but I'm writing with a good friend of ours named Alex. And I was like, well, heck, bring them both in. So we do that. We show up to the right, and then another good co-writer just was gotten out of another writing room in the building that we were at on Music Row, and he popped in. His name's Bobby McClam. And so we ended up having all these guys in the room. I mean, that's 5 people, which is a crazy thing to co-write. I'd never hardly do it. You never probably have any success usually, but they were all good friends. So that we kind of were just like, all right. So it started with me, and then it would just blossom into this crew. And That's another song where Joe kind of brought the title in, and I was just like, well, that's tight. Let's go with that, man. And I'd say, even though it was 5-way, every single person had a big part to do with that song. It came out perfect. Joe sang the heck out of it.
Yeah, he really did. Did a great
jam.
job.
I mean, that's one of my favorites off the record. I mean, he's got some good ones on there too, like Georgia and stuff. But I'm proud of that song. I'm glad it's gotten into people's ears, and it's just funny how things work out, because who knows what would have happened if I didn't call. I don't know, the co-writing thing. It's just the songwriting gods hit it at the right moment. Sometimes
exactly.
You never know. And I'm glad you like it. People check it out. I know Joe's out there.
It's also on our. It was on the Bayou's Best last week, but it's going to make its way and move on over to the top 25. And Joe's definitely a great musician. We love his music and songs, and hopefully get a chance to do a little interview with him. I know he's been busy on the road.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, man, we're digging the new single. And are you on tour or playing any shows promoting it right now? Or I know you always.
I'm going to be this summer. I'll probably be out. I'm doing a lot of kind of back up north where you guys think is north, which is funny to me. I'll be back in Virginia and West Virginia a lot of June and July. I'm playing kind of a 4th of July festival, and then a couple bars and such. In May, in a few weeks, I'll be playing the Key West Songwriters Festival. It's more of a writer's round thing, and I'm playing the Bluebird in a few weeks too. The
Bluebird. I've heard of that. Where's I think my buddy James Dupree plays there quite often.
It's basically the mother church of songwriting. It's only the only place I get nervous at anymore. I played there about 4 times before now, and I tell you, man, you go in there and you look at the walls and you see the greatness and everyone that's been in this tiny little room in a strip mall in Hillsborough and Nashville, and you still just are like in awe. I mean, it's amazing. So I try to play as much as I can there, just to honor the greats, and it doesn't get any better. So check it out when you're in town. If you're ever in town, definitely come to the Bluebird and see some good songwriting.
Well, I was going to ask you, brother. I'm probably going to be in town in the end of May. They have at Alley Taps with the Iceman, and I know Dawson's going to be there, and they have a few guys from local guys with music group Red Barn Music. It's going to be Dawson. Are you going to be part of that show too, right?
I am actually part of that show. That showcase.
It's going to be
it's going to be cool.
Is Caleb Conrad going to be? I think should be playing it.
The whole crew, kind of our little songwriting circle from Nashville, will be playing it.
Local Clay Cormier.
Yeah, so we'll get the Louisiana guys up here and kind of mingle, and
brother,
it'll be fun to kind of share our songs. I love that. I love all types of music, so get it all together there, and that'll be fun. If you're in Nashville, anybody out there, it's the 29th, I believe, of May.
20. Yeah. I'll have to double check. I want to say it's a Thursday. I know that.
Yeah. Come on out, Alley Taps, downtown, Printer's Alley. Gonna be a good one.
Yes, sir. And I didn't mean to cut you off about your shows and stuff. Upcoming. Beyond that, you have anything? I laugh because you say that. I think north is. Man, I'm from Southern Louisiana. North to me, Arkansas is north for me. All right.
I know. It's
but
funny.
You got any shows south that you gonna be playing anytime soon?
Not as south as you all. I think we're working on some Louisiana stuff though to get back down with you guys, because I really loved that little run we did, and it was awesome. Got to play Rax Bar and a couple other things, and I think we're gonna get back down there, try to play the Cowboys and such, and some of those good venues that have that good Louisiana country crowd. I really dig what y'all bring to the shows down there, and can't get enough. Love spreading country music, and y'all definitely an area that
it's definitely a place where if you're going to be playing and you don't be playing any 90s country type stuff, you can get run out quick.
Oh yeah. They're real. I like judgmental crowds because they feed back, and I love earning the merit of y'all. So when I'm down there, it's great. They dig us. So we'll be back soon. And I think maybe something in June, but I'll be more in contact with y'all. We'll try to figure something out, get a little promo going. But
yeah, and for people to keep up with all of your shows and stuff, you post most of that on your social media pages or the website, or I mean.
Yeah, I post everything. Of course, Facebook. It's Bryan Frazier Music. And then the Instagram's kind of the biggest thing. I've been working. We do a lot. I post most of my stuff on there, but it goes to Facebook too. And my Instagram handle, it's a Bryan Frazier Tunes, and it's a BRYAN, and that Frazier with a FRAZIER. A little different spelling for you. And then it's Bryan Frazier Tunes. So check that out. I got some. It's not just music. I like to kind of keep my Instagram a little different. We get all types of stuff. You'll see the Nashville life of a singer-songwriter. So
yeah, I definitely follow. I'm a follower, and I love watching because, like you said, you get a little taste of Nashville life. You know, you guys singing, songwriting, or out listening to somebody that, you know, newcomers, or, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's such a close community here. That's the biggest thing. That's kind of really what I love about Nashville. I think it makes it different than anywhere else. We're all best friends. We're all rooting for each other, and it's just a good competition because any of our friends does well, we do well too. So it's just kind of like it's a great place. I
definitely
love it.
So speaking of Nashville, being there now for coming up on 4 years now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What is the best wow moment you could tell us if it was running into somebody that was like wow, or maybe, you know, anything like that? Some kind of story you can give us?
Biggest wow. I got a few. I'll say this. I randomly, when I think it was first year in, I randomly, like, my Google Maps took me some back neighborhood, and I literally saw Eric Church just running. And I kind of freaked out. It came back to that whole.
Man, I'm starting to get a bro love feeling here for Eric,
it is
brother.
a little too strong. I know it's bro love, but hey, I didn't stop because I don't
blame you, brother.
People trying to do their workout, but I gave him a little wave, and kind of that was funny.
I would probably stop.
Ran into Chris Stapleton getting a loaf of bread at Kroger, the local grocery store. That was kind of funny. But you see these people, and they're, like I said, they're normal individuals, and that's the cool thing about Nashville. There's nothing super, like, yeah, you see them as superstars on TV and everything, but these people live the norm. They shop at the same places we do. They have kids. They go to the same dentist. You know, it's like you start to see that they're normal, and I think that's what's the difference between Nashville from New York and LA is, like, it's more just of like, yeah, they're nice people, and the majority of them, they'll talk to you. They're just normal people, but I always seem to run into a lot of people. My girlfriend always brings that up. She's like, how do you have the luck to just always run into people? But I seem to. That's the thing. But yeah,
it's not something bad, not a bad luck, obviously.
Not a bad luck, I know. I like it. It's funny.
And how has being in Nashville helped you develop your songwriting or your performing or anything, you know, your overall career in the past 4 years?
Oh yeah, it's immensely. When I moved here, I'd say I had a good base. 2 or 3 songs I would say would hold some weight here. But the songwriting, I came here to be a songwriter first, and then an artist second. And the songwriting, just getting in the room with people that are just as good or better than you, and then seeing writers' rounds, you see the level that you need to be at, and it's the world's best level of songwriting and entertainment type of stuff, and it just pushes you. It pushes you to a next level. You being around good artists makes you better. You kind of see what it takes, and there literally is. It's like the NFL of country music. You can't really describe the talent level until you see it, and it really just makes you 10 times better by moving here. That's the hard thing with you kind of understanding being on, because there's a lot of people like, yeah, you're great in a small town, but you come here and it really does just push you to be better.
Yeah. And that's something, I mean, I'm a huge fan of music, and a lot of people don't, or a lot of the public doesn't, they see the big names behind this microphone, but I'm a huge fan of the writers, man, because the lyrics and that's really, if it wasn't for that, you know, and there's plenty of musicians that write their own stuff, but there's also a lot of songwriters that are brilliant songwriters that just strictly write songs, and I love listening to great songwriting and lyrics, and obviously you have your own music too as well that you're promoting. But I just want to say thank you as being part of that group of family, man. Because if it wasn't for guys like you that sit around and write songs for other people as well as yourself, music wouldn't be what it is.
Oh yeah, it is. And I appreciate it because it's hard sometimes. Because I always say this, it might just be me. I can't trust a country songwriter if you don't miss your home. I'd rather be in the mountains of Virginia right now, but I'm here because there's nothing else I'd rather do. So it is a hard thing to move, uproot your life, and I understand why some people just can't do it because you really are uprooting your entire life to chase
a dream,
what some call a dream of sorts, and what is making it, just to write songs. And it is difficult. The way the streaming and everything's worked out, it's not exactly the most profitable business off the bat. So I appreciate that. But at the same time, hey, I get to wake up with my friends and go write songs, and you people like you get to hear them, and I'm really glad that y'all enjoy them, because that's honestly the most meaningful thing is seeing my music touch someone, getting Instagram DMs that are like, man, I went through that. I've been through that. Thank you, man. Your song got me through this breakup. Your song, exactly. I played it at my graduation party and we partied to it, and like stuff like that. That keeps
that's
you going.
Music, man. That's true music is from the heart, from the movement, and I just kind of had a little when you said you miss being home. I immediately thought of I'm a big Luke Combs fan, and I don't know. I'm sure you've heard his song that it's been out for a while, but he's just announced that he's going to put it on his deluxe edition. And Houston, we have a problem. Houston got a problem, and it's about he wrote the song about being in Texas, and just that song when I first heard it a long time ago, and now that's out. It's like songs like that. It's you can feel it. You can feel the emotion behind it, and obviously all great songwriters and singers. Chris Stapleton, you mentioned that, one of the great songwriter, and emotion that comes out of his music and lyrics, and it's awesome, man. And it's a talent that I'm not blessed to have, but I'm glad that I know people that do.
Well, thank you. I know, it's something else. I know. It's a crazy skill, just making up cool stories. Not all of them are made up, though. I'd say we always start with an idea. I'd say a lot of my crazy. I grew up a little wild, had a lot of wild friends, and I think that helped me. I always have these stories I can pull out and write, so it kind of just develops into these funny or deep songs or whatever. It's I've kind of lived a little bit, not to go back to that Lived It album, but I have, to where I have some wild stories always.
So are you trying to tell me that beer pressure came out of a life experience?
No,
never.
Well, I've had my fair share of some wild nights with some Coors Light and some can Bush Light in the backwoods of West Virginia, but yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm gonna say one more thing about the beer pressure. Not many people, I don't know, up north know that in Louisiana they sell 10-ounce beer cans, and I did not know until I ventured, other areas of the country that it's not really the same case. And in the song, whenever you say, got sweat for 12-ounce cans, I had a buddy of mine that I was playing the song, and he's like, why does he buy 12-ounce? And I'm like, dude, do you not realize that they don't sell 10-ounce cans everywhere in the world? But I just thought that was a funny little tidbit, man.
It is a funny little difference from Louisiana, y'all. But I love your different stuff. The drive-through daiquiris, that's one thing. Just the same thing. You're like, wow, you guys don't have 10-ounce cans? We don't have drive-through daiquiris.
Oh yeah.
I wish we did, though. It's funny.
When you're born in Louisiana and you go to another state, it's like going to another country. It's sad. It's like, what? Y'all don't have this? Y'all don't have, a daiquiri shop? Y'all don't have 10-ounce cans? Y'all don't have some crawfish? Yeah.
Tough.
Love my home state, man, but also love venturing out. Love Tennessee's beautiful state. I've never got to go to West Virginia. Maybe one day I'll be able to go with you.
I'll have to invite you up. You'll have to come to the show. It's a different type of redneck, a little mountain redneck up there. It's one of the most beautiful states you'll ever set foot in, and it's got some craziness like it's billed as. It's wild and wonderful, as they say. That's kind of state name, and it for sure lives up to it. So
that's around.
You'll have to come up.
That's a moonshining area, huh?
No, yeah, you dang right. Yeah, I've had my fair share. I actually just wrote a song the other day. I write a lot of these other like Appalachia songs that I really dig, kind of background stuff. But I've had a few friends. Can't tell you where exactly, but they still got some stills. Little thing, the real deal.
They're on the Discovery Channel, Moonshine.
Yeah. I've definitely had my fair share of some good apple pie. I'll say that.
I hear you, brother. Well, Bryan, man, I appreciate you taking some time to talk with us, brother, and I really enjoyed it, bro. And tell everybody, go out and look up the new single, and I'll make sure and post it up, and it'll be on our Bayou's Best, and look up all Bryan's social medias and keep up with him. He's a pretty good guy, and also like to give a little shout out to our sponsors, Cowboys Arena and Cowboys Nightclub in Scott, great venue for a lot of musicians. And tonight, this Friday night, which is currently now, they have Mr. Jamie Badger on the Kickin' Cajuns, and tomorrow, Saturday, Mr. Blaine Roy will be playing. And go give them a follow and go on their website and look up more dates. They got a lot of great artists to go around. Hopefully, Bryan will be playing there soon.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. We'll see what we can do.
Yes,
Definitely want to get back down there.
Yes, sir. Well, Bryan, appreciate it, brother.